Welcome to the Pit Crew. I'm Camille, your attending, and I have my residents with me.
I'm Mal.
And I'm Robert.
And today we are covering episode 5 of season 2 of The Pit, 11 a.m., which we are retitling Ever Considered Minding Your Own Business? And Mal is presenting today's patient, so Mal, take it away.
Yeah, so today's patient presents with a shit attitude because I don't know what's going on with Robby in this episode, but man, his attitude sucks. And also there is quite literally shit in this episode, so felt appropriate.
There's a shit ton.
Before we begin today's episode, I think a little housekeeping's in order. So, Camila, if you'd like to take over with that.
I absolutely will. Call me environmental services. So we kind of have these little downloads every time we join a recording session before we start talking. And we were talking about the incredible amount of listeners that we've had since season 2 started and how many of you are, leaving reviews and, well, not that. How many of you have joined us and how much we're enjoying hearing from you guys and getting emails from you guys.
We've gotten so many wonderful emails. Like, I know we don't always reply right away because emails are scary and hard to reply to, but like, we really do love reading them. Robert and I almost cried at All You Can Eat Sushi because we got a very nice email.
Yeah.
So like, please continue to email us. We will respond to you eventually, but know that we love you. And yeah.
I'm pretty sure with the emails, eventually we'll do another mailbag like we did for season 1. So if you want to keep writing us emails, so we'll have some juicy ones to read for that, by all means, continue to do so.
Yeah, we did get an explanation of the DKA patient that someone wrote in about or commented and said that they had seen the worst blood sugar was like over 1,400 or something like that. And they did write to us and explain that situation, which ended up being very tragic. But like, we love getting that information. And I mean, it's just crazy to hear y'all's stories. We also just wanted to say, and now this is something I would like to say to the listeners. You guys leave wonderful reviews on Spotify. Unfortunately, our reviews on Apple Podcasts are not good. We have got some really negative reviews recently.
Someone told us to go back to talking about media in our parents' basement. I would like everyone to know that I do pay my own rent and it is my own basement that I talk about media in. Thank you very much.
Someone complained about spoilers, how we spoil stuff. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. What?
Pretty sure we say that within the first few minutes of our first episode that we are talking the full show.
I'm also just kind of like, hey, no one is forcing you to be here. Like, if you don't want to listen, don't listen. Like, we're just 3 silly guys making a podcast. Like, this is not, it's not that deep. Just
not that deep.
Find another podcast.
Yeah, what I will say is that personally, I want to be very honest about it. Like, we do read every single review, and they are really hurtful when they're negative. Because the thing is, this is a hobby for us. A lot of, like, we have spent individually a lot of money on, everything from art to equipment to whatever. We spend so much of our time doing this. And also, like, we just do it for fun. We have a great time doing it. We love doing this podcast. We love bringing stuff to you guys. We love engaging with you guys. And like, we don't make money off of this podcast at all. We lose money making it because we have to spend money to make it. So like, if you could do us a favor, if you're listening specifically on Apple Podcasts, I mean, like, that's where we really need the help because we have very few reviews and quite a few negative ones there. If you could leave us a review there, that we would really love that. We would appreciate that. That helps us get to more people. Also, 50% of our listeners on Apple Podcasts are not subscribed to the podcast. So if you subscribe, the episodes will be like downloaded when they're ready. And then you don't have to worry about like not having them in your library or whatever. So anyway, that would be really helpful to us. So we wanted to talk about that. But yeah, no, we've loved having you guys. If you haven't been listening to our bonus episodes on Heated Rivalry, we've had some wonderful guests. We are going to have even more wonderful guests. I love having our friends join us and like bringing their expertise. We've got like a therapist, a social worker, a stand-up comedian. Like, it's great.
Next week for Pit Crew, we have a very special guest that I'm surprised we managed to finagle just because she looked at my Instagram DMs, but it'll be great to have her on.
Yeah. So yeah, we're really excited to like introduce you guys to our friends because
Yeah.
I think we're pretty funny. Our friends are fucking hilarious and they have really great insight. Especially like I didn't realize we had our friend Erin Hadimer, who's a stand-up comedian. A lot of people know her from TikTok. And I didn't know that she had a master's in creative writing and went to film school. So the insight that she could bring to things, I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. So yeah, we have a lot of really smart friends that have wonderful things to say. And so they've been joining us for Heated Rivalry because it's easier to talk with them about that just cause. But that's our housekeeping. Welcome. We love you guys. Please, just be like, hey, I love this podcast. That's it. That's enough, Or like, the acoustics in your mom's basement sound great. That's a good enough review,
Honestly, I'd prefer just a nice, honest, good review.
Yeah.
Even if you don't think we're a 5-star podcast, great. That's fine.
But like, you don't have to make it personal.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is I'm like, please, they don't need to be personal, because I've had people personally in our reviews call me out. And that's like, to be so honest, I think about that every time I sit down in front of a microphone, It's hurtful. So, yeah.
Somebody said Camille's loud and wrong. I counter that Camille is loud and right.
Sometimes. We're all wrong, but that's what life is about. It's about learning and growing from our mistakes, as Langdon is showing us this season. Perfect segue to the pit.
Wow.
And check out that growth from me.
Straight into I know.
Me admitting that Langdon is growing, and wow.
Okay.
Never thought I'd see that coming.
He's growing. So we bring Debbie from last week, who has possible MRSA.
MRSA or something worse.
Or something worse. To the ER. Langdon sees Robby and he's nervous. He's staying because Dr. Al had asked him to last week. And yeah, be nervous, but like, time to lock in, my guy.
No, I literally I understand that it's one shift, but we're at episode 5 now and Langdon is still so like hesitant and so like trepidatious. And I'm like, lock the fuck in, guy. Come on, let's go.
Where's that cocky attitude from? You left the cocky attitude in the old locker that you no longer have access to, probably. But like,
do we think that's Ogilvie's locker?
Oh, hate that.
Imagine we get to the end of the season and Ogilvie is like above Langdon trying to open his locker.
So we have like the classic American issue of she's like, is this going to take long? I'm only on my lunch break. When can I go back to work? And Robby's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But I will say the aggressive glove snapping from Robby this entire episode, like, really irritated me.
It's giving toddler. Like, you have to snap your gloves so that everybody knows you're pissed off. Like, grow up. Grow up. I mean, I said last week he's giving immature this season and like continues to. Just he's annoying me. And I used to like last season I loved him so much and I was like he's just the greatest guy. And this season I'm like, okay, go on your sabbatical already cuz you're pissing me off.
And Robby's being a total bitch to Langdon in front of this patient and I really don't like it because I think that we also see that this behavior affects the patient throughout the episode. Like it makes her anxious because of the way Robby is talking to Langdon. And I'm like, you are not alone. Like people are hearing this and you are literally behaving towards Langdon the way that Langdon treated Santos all last season and the way that you treated McKay all last season. Like, get it together, guy. And so Santos doesn't want in on this for multiple reasons, but it's because right now she's trying to chart.
Because she doesn't want to have to repeat her residency or
her second year of residency, yeah. So she's using a dictation device. I actually noticed that the dictation is happening in real time on the computer screen as she's speaking.
Oh, nice.
Like it's not like added in post or anything. And I thought that was so cool that they were using like a real computer and a real dictation device. Like that's awesome.
My thing is that I understand that Santos is not in her mom's basement recording a podcast, so I don't expect her to have a proper podcast microphone. Why the fuck does the device that she's recording with look like it's from the 1980s?
It's very old. Trust me, I used to do IT support for a hospital chain, and boy, oh boy, they were still running Windows 7 computers. Whitaker interrupts her charting to ask if he did something to upset her, and she's like, "Oh, besides like interrupting me right now?" And we have more tension between the two of
He
them.
definitely, like, something is definitely going on that is deeper than just her worried about getting these charts done. Like, there is something between them, right?
Yeah, boy's gonna get kicked out by the end of the season, I think.
I think all this emphasis they're placing on the fact that he's getting paid now, I'm worried that
Mhm.
he's gonna end up finding his own place to live, which is such a
Mhm.
bummer because I want more of them as roommates. And I know that's not the point of the show. The point of the show is
Mhm.
about these, like, that we're just with them for these like single shifts. But and I guess like that's what fan fiction is for. Whatever. Fine, fine. But I have so many thoughts about them as roommates and going to a gay bar together, and he can't move out.
Mm,
Well, Santos is 20 charts behind, and Dana has a patient that she needs to see. But Dana says that the charting is going to have to wait until after her shift. And my note just says after, and then a bunch of question marks because I'm like, oh, fuck no.
I mean, we do it to teachers. We expect them to grade after hours and lesson plan after hours after like teaching children all day. So, like, one thing about this country is it is built on unpaid labor, and we
Mhm.
continue to find ways to use people's unpaid labor. And this is just another example of that.
Did you know that flight attendants don't get paid until the plane is in the air?
Sure did.
Isn't that
Again, unpaid
crazy?
labor.
Oh my
yeah.
God. So Dana tells Ogilvie to take care of the patient and tells Santos to supervise and chart while she supervises. We will see throughout this episode that doesn't really work out very well. Mr. Diaz, the DKA patient, has to stay on an insulin drip, but he really can't afford it. He really can't afford to stay there on this insulin drip. And his wife wants him to stay and like not worry about it, but he's anxious about like being out of work and the cost of everything. And I think that it's really, really easy to not necessarily easy, but easier to be the person saying, "Don't worry about it," than to be the person who feels like the burden.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm like, if I'm sitting in the hospital and I'm the one who's bringing up the bills, the longer my butt is in that bed, I'm not gonna, like, you can't calm me down. Sorry. Like, no. Now, Dr. Al joins Robby and Langdon in the trauma room with Debbie, and Robby says that they don't need help, but she says she's going to observe and they won't even know she's there. And Robby has completely disregarded the fact that he's Langdon's teacher at this point. Like, Langdon orders something, Robby orders something, Langdon says, "But what about this?" And Robby just like does not explain. He does not care to teach anymore. Not when it's Langdon.
Deliberately setting him up for failure that he's making question mark, I guess. Like, yeah,
Mm,
Langdon is repeating his R3 year, right? He should know a good chunk about medicine and stuff, but at the same
mhm.
time,
Mhm. Yeah. I just think that, like, I think he wants to see Langdon fail so that he can turn around and be like, "See, everyone? I told you so," you know? In the same way that he wanted McKay to fail last season so that he could turn around and be like, "What did I say?" You know?
Yeah, it also feels a little bit like just throughout the interactions with this patient, Langdon very much is trying to manifest that like it's not the worst case scenario. I think
Mm,
because he knows that Robby is going to blame him because
mm,
he's the one who saw the patient earlier and sent her home, even though like what he did is what anyone would have done.
mhm.
So I think there's like that level to it as well, where he's like, Robby already thinks that I fucked up.
I think that we definitely have a running theme this season of horses, not zebras. The running theme here is that people are trying to be like, "Okay, think about this has gotta be horses. I'm not gonna jump to zebras," you know?
Mhm.
right.
But also me as a watcher, I'm kind of I want everything to be zebras, and I think maybe I'm not supposed to.
But I think that's kind of the magic of the show is that even if it's not zebras, you're still, like, locked in, you know?
Cause I'm still like, where's that little girl whose name I cannot remember, who was like possibly child abuse, and
Mhm,
then it's probably not child abuse, but then also like part of how her dad reacted still doesn't sit well with me. So I'm
mhm,
like, something else is going on here, and I'm just like, we haven't seen her in 2 episodes now. So I'm like,
mm,
where is she? Is something happening?
Presumably she went up to Pete's.
maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. I will say about this episode that I think that I personally like, I'm loving this season. It still feels just like we're watching the pit, like it's just
Mhm.
we're right back in
Guys,
it,
we're
back to
watching the
another
pit.
shut up.
Whoa.
But what I will say is that compared to last season, we're at 11 a.m. and I know like shit's gonna hit the fan, but I'm like, okay, let's pick up the pace. Like, I feel like we're a
Yeah.
little bit slow. I'm ready to like get it going, And I'm sure that'll happen like next week.
Because I've also seen people online saying, like, oh, this season doesn't feel as exciting as the first one. And I'm like, it really didn't feel all that exciting until the end. Like, we
Mm,
are very much leading towards something. Like, there is going to
mhm,
be some big thing that happens, which is why we have 15 episodes of a 12-hour shift,
mhm,
And so something is coming. And I have faith that that something is going to feel as huge as like the shooting did last season,
mhm,
but I think we also got off to a slow start because I'm going to admit something here. When I first started watching The Pit, I like sat down and I binged like everything that was out, which was I don't know, 6 or 7 episodes, and I was like, yeah, it's a TV show. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to start talking to Camille about it. Robert, I'll fucking kill you.
For those of you who can't see me, I was doing the like 6-7 hand gesture.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I was like, I'm gonna reach out to this Camille person that I've seen online and like try to befriend her through this show that I've seen that I think is okay. Like, it's a show. I enjoyed it. It's fine, but I don't think it's gonna be my new personality
haha.
because I was talking about it with Camille and because it got really, really exciting at the end. And then Camille and I were watching that together. Like, that's what really endeared me to the pit. So I'm not, all that to say, I'm not putting too much stock in the beginning of the season feeling slow.
Mhm,
Because, like, the first episode I watched and I was like, yes, the pit is back. And now I'm just kind of like, yes, the pit is back. And I'm like, and the pit's gonna be even more back at some point, and I'm like waiting for that point, Like, all the episodes are great and good, but they're just kind of episodes, Does that
we're
make sense?
building, we're building, yeah.
Yes.
And well, okay, not to tangent too far, we will bring it right back after this, but how crazy is it? Listeners, Robert and I have never met, but we're gonna meet in like 5 weeks.
That's crazy shit, dude. Oh my god.
Mal, tell everybody what I got you for your birthday.
Camille's gonna come visit me for my birthday, and because Robert lives not that far from me, Camille will get to meet both of us.
Well, she's already met you.
Well, yes. And she'll get to meet Kip, which is huge. Yeah, Camille's already met me because I went to her, but now it's her turn to come to me. So, very exciting.
So, with Debbie, this could be SIRS, which is a systemic inflammatory response syndrome. Apparently, it's an early warning sign of critical illness. It's not a diagnosis in itself. Like, it's a symptom of something. It's like, uh-oh, your body's reacting to something that's going on. And the patient asks if her boss wants to talk to the doctors, and Langdon's in the background like, hell no. Like, the gesture he makes is like, nope.
If you've seen our Instagram story feed, this was originally going to be a contender for potentially me using my horny moment or my horny thought for the episode, my censored horny thought. It's when Robby, it's because like her boss calls and he's like, are you going to show up? Are you still at the hospital? Why it's taking so long? If you don't come to work, I'm going to fire you. And she's like begging not to get fired. And initially, she also as we said, she asks if if the doctors will talk to the boss, and no one wants to. And then Robby steps in, takes the phone, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Ravinovich. I am the chief attending of emergency medicine here. And if you fire her, she will sue you. And if she does, I will testify on her behalf." And then he hangs up before the boss can say anything. And I'm like, that was very hot.
Robert had to take a lap.
Mm-hmm.
I had to take a
Yeah.
lap because of how this episode ends. I literally texted you guys. I'm like, guys, I think I'm going to use my horny thought this episode. And then like 40 minutes later, I'm like, guys, I can't use my horny thought this episode.
No, I think you're taking the coward's way out because this has nothing to do with what happens at the end. And I knew immediately when this happened, I was like, oh, that's Robert's horny thought. That's Robert's horny thought. I was like, because that was hot as hell.
But no, I think that it would be a mistake to lock in a horny thought before Jack Abbott has made an appearance.
It's so true.
So I think that's a really smart decision.
True.
I say as if I didn't use mine in like the first episode, but
You used your carryover from season 1.
So true. I still have one. I forgot about that.
So Jada, who is the sister of the law student patient Jackson, she wants to know how long it's going to be until he wakes up, and they don't really know. But Dr. Al encourages her to go to the cafeteria, take a bit of a break, and Jada's struggling with why a campus security guard would have tased her brother because she's like, aren't they supposed to be there to like help and protect the students?
You know, Jada, I am also struggling with that, and I cannot wait to see where we go with this.
Racism.
Yeah, well, obviously. But like there's some drama here. There's and
Mm,
I know it's coming and I'm ready for it. I am ready for that awful, awful man to be held accountable. And that's,
yeah.
exactly what Dr. Al says. Like she should pursue accountability, but should take some time and take care of herself right now first before kind of shit hits the fan.
Before her parents show up, and which makes it clear that like Javati has told Dr. Al about her hesitation
Mhm.
regarding her parents. There's communication happening that we're not seeing. So now we have Mrs. Randolph. She's got abdominal pain, and Ogilvy's doing his basic check over her. He's listening to her bowel sounds and all that kind of stuff. Santos is charting in the corner. She's being a bitch to him, but I don't mind. This is fine. I love this for her. I love this for him. Ogilvie asks if she takes Percocet every day, which is a painkiller, and she says no. And then he moves on. He goes to start asking about her water intake, and Santos goes, pause. You said you don't take it every day. When was the last time you did take it? Which is a great question. Like, that's the very natural next question to ask that Ogilvie just didn't think of. Mrs. Randolph said that she took it 3 to 4 times last week because she tweaked her back. And this lady also says she ain't pooped since last week.
That doesn't sound good.
My tummy hurts. I wonder what's wrong. I mean, I haven't pooped since last week, but I'm like, hey,
Well,
yo.
that's why.
She's on a stool softener. They tried an enema. They did mag citrate. Do you guys remember that there was some like weird trend on TikTok not too long ago where like people would be taking mag citrate, but they like wouldn't tell their partners how much of it to take and they drink the whole bottle?
Oh, I remember seeing that,
No?
yeah, and there were we're on levels of
Jesus.
TikTok you can't even comprehend now.
No, for real, because what?
It was a terrible trend, but also
Hmm.
it was also low-key funny when some people were like, "I know fully what the effects of mag citrate are, but I'm going to drink the whole bottle and I'll be back." And then, like, it cuts to them being like, "I'm dying on the toilet, help me."
And I'm like, why would you
Oh
fucking
my
do that? Also, I
god.
want to be very clear. It is not funny to not communicate clearly to someone how to take medicine as a prank.
You're supposed to take, like, what, a spoonful with some water, right?
Right, I think you're supposed to dilute it with water. Anyway, they're gonna do an X-ray. Santos doesn't have any bedside manner with Ogilvy, but again, like I don't mind, but because she's not a bad teacher. Like I again was seeing a lot of similarities with her and Langdon.
A lot of people are being like, "Oh, Santos is being a bitch this season." And I'm like, "No, she's stressed. She's very stressed."
My wife has been a bitch, and I love her so much, okay?
Okay, John Mulaney. Okay.
Yes.
He divorced that wife.
I know, and it's ruined the quote for me a little bit whenever I think of that.
And then he got married almost immediately afterward, and then had a kid with that lady. Hmm.
He has 2 kids now, doesn't he?
Ew. That's the downfall of John Mulaney was having children. Because what do you mean? Anyway, we're moving on. Debbie's cellulitis is spreading, and Robbie's still being so awful to Langdon that it's freaking the patient out because the attitude is just so bad. It's shit.
Yeah.
Roxy Hamler, 42, is doing home hospice. She's got a history of lung cancer. She had a seizure. She injured herself. They mentioned that they couldn't get an IV started because of her veins. And so I just wanted to say for anyone who doesn't work in medical and is listening, IM versus IV is intramuscular versus intravenous. So if you can't start an IV on someone, you can give them a shot into the muscle. So that's like if you've ever gone and got a shot of a painkiller or a steroid or something like that, that's intramuscular. Or even like a vaccine, right? That goes into your muscle.
We cut to Gus Varney, 54, who is an inmate patient coming in. He was going to go to Westbridge, but, hey, shit be happening. There's also, well, we'll point it out as it happens, but there's also subtle background stuff happening that's like pointing to the big, twist of the season, which we'll talk about and like tell you, hey, skip 30 seconds when we get to it. But Gus Varney here, he was going to go to Westbridge. He's in a ton of pain because another inmate attacked him.
I want to point out, though, that he does not say that another
Mm.
inmate attacked him.
Mm-hmm.
someone else answers for him, and it's like, the corrections officer or
One of
whatever
the
who's
other
come with him.
upstanding
Yeah.
citizens of cell block 6 or whatever. Yeah, I clocked that too. He never
Yeah.
says anything about that. Yeah. No, I definitely clocked that. I want the hot gossip. I want to know about this. I have more notes about that as we go along. They said that he can't be uncuffed. They're less than a second from moving him before the security guard finally is like, hold on. And I'm like, you couldn't have said that earlier? Like, what? Okay. So this guard is in everybody's way. We finally get an acknowledgement that somebody yelling while you're trying to listen to their lungs is like hella loud, which is great because they've had so many screaming patients throughout this show, and they're still listening to like their heart and their lungs and everything as they're going, as they're screaming, and nobody ever reacts to it. So we finally get this acknowledgement from Whitaker that like, ouch, that was loud. And I've also noticed this season that the medical advisors on the show have a lot more lines, like the med techs. So a lot of the nurses in the scenes who are like giving the like nurse Sophie last episode, talking about the lab calling and or CT calling and all this kind of stuff. Like these are the med techs on the show and they're getting more lines and I'm like that's great. Like get your bag cuz they get paid more for that. When they have lines, they get paid more for that. So
Good for them.
good for them. Dr. Al, I also noticed this. Dr. Al hands a tongue depressor to Whitaker, but I noticed that she takes the trash, like the paper wrapper from it, and puts it in her pocket rather than just like tossing it on the ground like other people would.
I felt seen by that. I always have trash in my pockets because I unwrap anything and I'm not standing by a trash can and it's going in my pocket. Like whenever I run and I do like run gels or whatever, I'm not a piece of shit and I don't throw them on the ground and I stick them in my pockets and then whenever I come home, I have to like remember to take them out otherwise then I wash them.
Ew. But Gus's mandible is fractured. He's got a forearm laceration, rib fractures, and my note, exactly like you said, Mal, was I am suspicious that a guard did this to him. He got stomped on and
Yeah.
like punched in the face, it seems like, maybe. I don't know.
Honestly, for me, it's pretty 50-50. Like, I have
Mm,
one of my special interests is just like watching YouTube videos of people who've been in prison and like talking about their experiences, depending on like the severity and like the level of prison
mhm,
they've been in prison. I'm a huge fan of a guy named Larry Lawton, who has gone into detail about like his life and like, crimes he committed, the prison that the prison sentence that he served. And the prisoners will fuck you up, the guards will fuck you up.
mhm,
Honestly, just going off that experience, if the guards fucked you up, they'd probably leave you to die.
mm,
Maybe it was a tag team situation in which there was like a situation because I'm wondering about like the gash on his arm because it doesn't feel like that is something you get from a guard because I feel like they don't usually have sharp objects. So that feels like it may have come from another inmate, or perhaps there was like an accident of some sort. I don't know. But so I'm like, maybe there was like a fight or something, and then a guard was pulling him off and like got a little too, I don't know. Or maybe this is another case of like looking for a zebra when it's really a horse. Like maybe it really just was another inmate. Like,
maybe.
or maybe not.
We have to
Trust
add
no
to the
one, not even the pit season 2.
butt tally.
Yep,
There's another butt.
we do see his butt.
Cheeked up again.
What are we at now? 4?
We're at 4.
Robby is already back with Langdon. There is a bulla forming on this woman's leg, on Debbie's leg, which is a blister. The redness is spreading really rapidly, but Langdon is like being a little bit more chill than I would expect from him. We kind of talked about this already, but like,
Yeah. I think this is the him trying to manifest that it's not the worst case scenario. Like, no, it still could be not as bad as it looks. Like,
mm.
it could be that I didn't screw up sending her home. Not that he made the wrong call, but like,
I also, for the first time ever, finally was like, wait a minute, what do they mean when they say they're cycling BP? Because they say that all the time. And it actually took me like 10 minutes to get the right answer because every time I tried to search it, like different variations, it was like, cycling is great for your blood pressure. And I'm like, that's not what the fuck I'm talking about. So, cycling blood pressure basically means you're repeatedly taking the blood pressure, right? Because you'll like if you go to a walk-in clinic or whatever, they like pump it up manually and listen with the stethoscope and kind of stuff like that, when a nurse is taking your blood pressure. But what they're saying is they're telling the machine like take the blood pressure again, right? So if you've been hospitalized before, you'll know that like you are laying in bed with the cuff on And there's a machine that does it automatically on a timer, basically, so that somebody doesn't have to be constantly doing that, because that would be an extra person. The phone is ringing. Debbie's starting to feel warm. The lab is calling, and they say that her lactic acid is 4.2. I Googled it. Apparently normal is between 0.5 and 1.8. Ooh, numbers. That's not great. So, nobody in this episode wants to let Langdon order drugs.
I did notice that.
And I'm like, okay, I get it. But also, like, he is a licensed medical professional.
Not only does Robby not want Langdon to order drugs, Robby doesn't want Langdon to fucking be here.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then Robby and Dr. Al kind of have a check-in, you know, how's your patient? How's your patient? And then Robby, as he's walking away, tells Dr. Al to keep him posted. And I love the fact that she responds and says ditto. And then Robby kind of like turns and is like, what? And I'm like, yeah, bitch, ditto. Did she stutter? Ahmad says to Langdon that everybody's really glad he's back. Langdon's like, yeah, not so sure about that. Ahmad offers to like let him in on the betting board, kind of goes over it with him. And my cheeks were clenched. Like, because that's such a slippery slope. But good for him. Langdon's like, nah, I'm still catching up on the rehab bills. And I'm like, that's not quite it. I'm sure that plays a part.
Yeah.
But that's such a slippery slope. You know, you trade one vice for another. So I'm very proud of him for saying no to that. Like, I liked that for him. Donahue wants to change his bet, which means he has to double up. But he thinks it's a sinkhole that closed Westbridge.
I would laugh so hard if it actually is a sinkhole. I think that would be incredibly funny. Because it's giving, I mean, I know they're not the same, but it's giving like quicksand, and how like I thought quicksand was going to be a much bigger deal when I was a child than it like actually has been in my life. Like just like sinkhole. All right. But also, I'm not a gambler. I don't bet on things. I do not understand the rules here. Like, I don't know how this works, how you win, because I would think like, okay, you put a certain amount of money in, and if you're right, the money that you receive back depends on the amount of money that you put in. But if everyone's not putting
No.
in the same amount of money, yeah,
That's not how it's working.
Everybody puts. Oh, go. You do it because you need to talk.
I'll do it because I fucking love gambling. Not really, but so if everyone's putting in $20, if like 10 people are putting in $20, right? That's $200.
right.
The person who gets the most attributes right about why they closed, how long they're going to be closed, and how many patients they're going to get will receive that entire $200.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it doesn't matter if you put in $40.
Doesn't matter if you put in whatever. You can put in however much you want. Putting in higher amounts is to sort of like you're very locked in. You're like, I'm so fucking confident it is this that I'll put in, $50 or whatever.
Because if you're very confident, you put in $50, and then you're like, but I'm not risking $50 because I'm gonna win. If you put in a lot and someone else is like, no, I think you're wrong, then they're gonna put in a lot. So you kind of like get them to put in more, and then when you win more overall because someone else put in
All
more.
right, that's just stupid. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it depended on like how much money you put in with how much you got
Breaking
back.
news:
Boo.
Gambling is stupid.
Breaking news: Mal didn't know the most basic information.
Okay, I have gambled literally. Okay, that's not true. I went to Vegas for my 21st birthday. I played slot machines. I think I lost like $50, and it stressed me out so bad that I was like, I can never do this again. But the only time I've done something like this, I may have already said this on the podcast. I probably did. All my coworkers and I each put in $1, and we bet like how much our raise was going to be for the year. So the fact that everyone was putting in different amounts of money, I was like, oh, surely this is more complicated than that. But really, it's just that. Like, it's just everyone's putting in money and
We have explained to you how a betting pool works. So I want to put $10 forward that we'll have to explain something to Mal next episode. Anyone want to take a bet on that?
I was like, I was going to put $10 down that Mal was going to forget how this works. And we'd have to explain it again next week.
You know, that is fair. I often forget what we talk about on this podcast, and then I'll listen to it back, and I'm like, when did we say that? I don't remember that.
I'm the one who fucking edits this podcast, and sometimes I'm listening to the finished product. I'm like, when the fuck did we say that?
Santos is still getting interrupted. Of course, she cannot get anything done. She is saying the same goddamn thing that she's been trying to say all morning.
Poor girl.
Langdon is with Louis. Louis has the shakes. He really wants a drink.
That was DT.
Mm-hmm. Langdon orders Librium for him, but Whitaker comes in and has like steel-toed boots on and steps on Langdon's toes, like crunches down on those toes. Like I think I gasped because I was like, "Oh, that was rude. Who the fuck are
Yeah.
you?" I've been watching
Yeah.
too much hockey because I was like, clothesline him.
You just want
Check him.
you just want Langdon to like rip
Fight,
off the gloves
fight,
and be
fight,
like, "We're gonna
fight."
kill him. I'm gonna kill this fucking
Guys,
orphan man."
if you can hear a difference in my voice, it's because I went to a hockey game last night. We were down 5-1 around the end of the second. By the end of the game, we won 6-5. And there was a point at which they were at the boards, like battling for the puck. And I literally yelled, "Just kill him." So, like, I was screaming so loud. Anyway,
I said just kill her many times when I was at that Sirens game with Mal and my boyfriend, and they were like, "You should chill." I'm like, "No, I'm experiencing the culture."
Robert is
No.
into hockey now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care that I'm sitting lower bowl with a bunch of rich people. I'm sitting there going, "Just kill him."
Listen, the nice thing about women's hockey is that lower bowl tickets are so cheap because
Mm.
you know, it doesn't have the hype of the WNBA yet, at least in New York. The New York Liberty are very, very popular, and those games are very expensive. Like less than $30 for our tickets that were like very close to the action. We had a great time. Check out women's hockey. If there's women's hockey in your area, like incredible stuff is happening.
The way you need to act when you go to a hockey game is, if you've seen the movie Shrek, you want to be that old lady in the crowd while Shrek is fighting all the knights, being like, "The chair, give him the chair."
That is so real. That's me. That is so me. But yeah, anyway, my vocal cords are fried because by the end of that game, it was empty net for the Blues, and I was like, "Yeah!" I love an empty net. So Robby still won't talk to Langdon. Langdon, like, literally gets up in Whitaker's face as he's leaving, and I was like, "Hell yeah, you show that little rat who he is, you know? Like, you show that rat boy." Because, like, who the fuck are you, intern? Who the fuck are you? I was so annoyed with Whitaker. I'm not gonna lie. Robby still won't talk to Langdon. Langdon is still trying to, like, "Hey, if you have a second." Nope. Robby interrupts Santos's charting, which annoyed me because it didn't really seem like he had a good enough reason to interrupt her. He like clocked that she was charting and then interrupted her. And I was like, why?
Because he wants to cause problems.
We have Mrs. Yardley. She has a nasty cough. Also, did you guys clock the fact that Ogilvie is staring at Santos as he's talking to this patient? I rewound it like 3 or 4 times and just tried to like clock what he was picking up on or what he's looking at. Was it just the fact that she wasn't paying attention, or like I don't know. What is he noticing? What is he looking at?
I don't know. That's a great question.
So he asks if she's ever considered, stopping smoking. And she said, "Have you ever considered minding your own business?" Banger.
So true, Queen.
Banger. I mean, he is a medical professional, but banger.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna be like, "Have you considered it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have considered it." And then I didn't do it because I enjoy doing the thing.
We could all benefit from a little more minding our business sometimes, I think.
We wouldn't have this podcast if we did. So she does not have COVID. She does not have the flu. We're talking with Roxy and her husband. Her husband seems fantastic. But I also, again, I'm like, am I looking for zebras? Because he talks so much about her pain meds
Yes.
that I'm like, why are we talking so much about her pain meds?
Yes, and McKay's face
Mhm.
when he's talking about her pain meds.
And she says, "Do you handle her pain meds?" Yeah.
Yeah, and the way that he says sometimes and she says all the time.
Mhm.
I'm like, something is fishy.
Mhm.
And again, maybe it is zebras.
Something is fishy, and you know what? Maybe it's just a tuna, but maybe it's chicken and it smells fishy, and that's weird.
Yeah, like I'm like there I feel like this season I feel like is giving us so many interesting like red flags in
Mhm.
these interactions with
Mhm.
characters and people, and it's just like what am I supposed to be thinking? What am I like I'm really enjoying like that aspect of this season because so far every time, like, not to be like Camille is loud and wrong, because I feel like we've all been really loud and wrong about a lot of things,
That's the point of podcasting.
like, because they're giving us so many of these little red flags, and then it's like, oh, it actually wasn't as crazy as it was made out to be. We just like kind of caught on to these little things and are thinking like it's going to be more dramatic than it is, you know? So I don't know. Like, I think this is fun.
I do feel vindicated that you're picking up on so much of the same things that I'm picking up on, especially in this episode, though.
Clown to clown, Camille. We spend too much time together. Like, I mean, not even like in person together, but just like talking to each other and like,
What did you say to me earlier? You were like, Camille, I think it's time for you to get off the internet because now you're even finding things that are pissing me off.
yeah. I was like, Camille, you gotta stop sending me people's dumb takes online because I can't do it.
She said, you're finding things that are pissing me off, so I can't even imagine how you're feeling. Roxy was diagnosed with cancer 7 years ago. She says she has 15 and 9-year-old boys. Can you imagine having a 2-year-old at home and
Ugh.
being diagnosed with cancer? Oh my God.
Also,
Good
like,
Lord.
7 years. 7 years
7 years of
of
dealing with this
cancer.
shit. I think I forget a lot that, like, yes, cancer patients are in pain.
Yeah.
I think of it more as like an upper respiratory kind of a thing for some reason. Why is that like the general idea that we have of like, ooh, it just like you just feel ill, you know? I don't really think about the fact that cancer patients are in like physical pain.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Why do we not think about that? Because clearly pain management is a massive part of cancer treatment.
Right.
So I don't know why I never associate pain, like physical pain, with cancer. Noelle finally sees the Diaz family and she says that PTMC can do a 60-40 split on the cost. So PTMC will cover 60%, they'll cover 40%.
How generous.
Right. Mr. Diaz points out that the bill could be well over $100,000, though.
Yeah. American healthcare is a nightmare. You know, you think, "Oh, okay, 60% off. That's a great sale. That's more than half." But when it's like more than half of what could be $100,000, and that even feels like a conservative estimate. Like there are plenty of people who walk out of the hospital with bills in the millions. So,
Mm.
like 40% of that is still $40,000, which is
Mhm.
like a huge chunk.
It's half my annual salary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's a huge chunk of anybody who's like making a decent income. Like that's half their
Mhm.
income.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's half their fucking income, which is crazy. In the Subaru saga, which I'm sure everyone wants an update on from episode 1, still haven't bought it. We're waiting for Memorial Day
Go
sales.
off, lesbian.
Thank you. We're waiting for Memorial Day sales to hopefully be not shit. The car we want, which is a Subaru Crosstrek, the base model costs just shy of 30 grand. And we don't have 30 grand, obviously. We'll be putting a sizable deposit down to hopefully not have super high monthly payments, but at the same time, that's $30,000. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Mhm. Yeah. And so Joy suggests that they admit to med surge instead of ICU, which is cheaper. I looked it up. The reason it's cheaper is because the patient to nurse ratios are a lot higher. So there's 4 patients to 1 nurse typically, if and that's moderate. That's a I'm sure that they have a lot more patients than just 4 per nurse. They also don't do a lot of like specialized medical care in med surge. It's mostly like people who are stable who just need like monitoring. And med surge is the backbone of a hospital, but all I've ever heard about med surge is that they all fucking hate it.
Oh,
That like all the fucking med surg nurses just fucking hate it. Like that's and I again like I'm not big into healthcare communities like IRL, but anytime it's ever come up, all I've heard is that people hate it. So I don't know. Noelle says she's going to talk to MedSurge and see if they'll take him, but Mohan is pissed at Joy for bringing this up, which is totally valid because this is a great idea. However, and Mohan doesn't know that this is a great idea yet, but probably shouldn't have been brought up in front of the patient.
right.
Should have been discussed, you know. But I almost think that maybe Joy is a bit emotionally checked out right now from what we learn about her later. And so I wonder if she's not really thinking about it. She just kind of says it.
Speaking of Noelle, she catches up with Robby, and the way you wrote in the notes is beautifully. They need a bucket of ice water thrown on them.
Yeah.
Like, what? Jesus
You're at
Christ.
work. If Santos and Garcia can do it, which by the way, I saw someone on Threads like posted something about like, oh, I love the kind of subtle ways that the show is like telling us things about our characters, like how they, subtly told us that like Santos and Garcia are together. And someone responded as like, wait, Santos and Garcia are together? And I was like, oh, people are not watching this show the same way I am. That's wild.
Apparently, on the official Companion podcast, one of the hosts asked if Whitaker and Santos were going to end up together.
Oh boy. Again, some people are not watching the show the same way I am. But also, I'm very used to looking for LGBT crumbs in any media, even when it's not there. And so when it is there, I'm like gobbling up those crumbs. Anyway.
Noelle says to Robby that based on her experience, he's a 7-week itch kind of guy.
Oh.
I hate that. What if I got down there to help Robby tie his shoes and I tied his shoelaces together? Because get the fuck out. Noelle wants to gossip with Dana. She basically is like, what do you think this whole sabbatical is about? And then she says that he sleeps with the TV on in his room. And Dana, rightfully so, I loved this moment, especially from Dana. She looked horrified. And she says, I really don't think I needed to know that. And I'm like, exactly. You didn't. Keep your goddamn mouth shut. God.
She's like, I don't know you like that. Like, you don't need to be gossiping like that with me.
And she's like, I know Robby in too much of a different way. I don't want to know that he's like his sleeping patterns or like who he sleeps with or whatever.
I felt a little bit like I didn't want to know that. I was like, excuse me, that's my dad. Like,
ew. It's not even like I don't know him like that. It's just like it's none of my, like, I know him in a very different way, and that is also none of my business because yes, like we're friendly, but that has nothing to do with me. Learn some boundaries. I hated that. Ew, yeah. No. Anyway. Santos is still trying to chart the same fucking thing. Ogilvie says that Mrs. Yardley has pneumonia, and Santos is like, bestie, this is the White Death. This is consumption. This is some Edgar Allan Poe shit.
I need you to know that when I heard it was tuberculosis,
John Green,
I got out of my seat and I fucking cheered. Yes, I'm a John Green girly through and through. He's had some problematic times happen. What white man hasn't, but he's still fighting the good fight. Everything is Tuberculosis is a fantastic book. John Green should stick to writing nonfiction. That's where he's like really good. Nonfiction and essays. But yeah, fuck. The second I'm like, tuberculosis, I know about that. I read that book.
I've never read a John Green book.
Oh, I was a big The Fault in Our Stars girly in like
I was gonna say
freshman year of high school.
We have two things happening in this episode in particular that John Green has written books about. One is cancer and one is tuberculosis.
And romance that I don't give a shit about. There's that too.
Here's the thing about The Fault in Our Stars. Are there some really weird, problematic, potentially scenes in that book? Yes. The main characters do kiss for the first time in the Anne Frank house.
Is it for the first time?
That is their first kiss.
Remember that? Oh no! I mean, not that even if it was like their 10th kiss, it would be any better. But
no. Yeah.
This is so romantic.
Yeah, so romantic. Some people have sort of made that, like, oh, people being happy in a place of like sorrow or whatever. Like they've made that argument, and other people are like, no, that's really fucking weird. Why would you have them do that? But for the most part, the thing people really like about this book is the representation of cancer, because John Green wrote that book being like, man, every cancer book I've ever read sucks because cancer books sort of play out as a warning to the healthy, or like, a pain party, like a book about pain to like make healthy people feel better about themselves or whatever. And he's like, I'm just going to write a book about how people with cancer are still people.
Interesting. Well, for the longest time, and it's been a while since I thought this, but I thought that like when someone had died of consumption, that meant that like they had like drank themselves to death. That just made sense to me. No, consumption is tuberculosis. So anyway,
I don't know what I thought it was, but I just was kind of like, yeah, that's when you just died from living in the olden times.
Ye olden consumption.
I can never, especially the Muppets version, I can never give a shit about A Christmas Carol, because I'm like, no, that boy has tuberculosis. What the fuck do you mean he survived? And Tiny Tim, who did not die, bitch, he fucking died. It's like 18 whatever. You think money can help with tuberculosis? No, they haven't developed the fucking medicine for it yet. Like, no, that bitch is dead.
Money can't cure tuberculosis, but
Okay.
it can get you into heaven.
Okay, but also have you considered that it's a really sweet movie and it would suck if it's just like, oh, he died anyway.
It would suck if
Everyone
the
dies.
fucking rat character, whose name I currently don't remember, someone who wants
Whitaker.
someone. Move on, please, for the love of God.
Okay. So Ogilvie now has to get tested, but he looks horrified, and this was so delightful for me to get to watch. He looks just like, like
We were like, we need this man humbled, and boy, have they delivered.
They humbled him. I think Santos throws out the statistic that like roughly 70% of doctors are exposed to tuberculosis or something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. So, okay. We meet this patient named Alex, and his brother has branded his chest. First of all, I do want to say he says jack off. No, he should have said jag off. So, for the people in Pittsburgh, I hear you. I know. He should have said jag off. They decided to brand each other with dry ice because what the fuck?
Because boys, this is what boys will be boys means, actually, really and truly.
Yes.
And
yeah.
it's just boys will be so fucking stupid.
What is the most boys will be boys thing I've ever done? Okay, so when I was in middle school, my best friend who taught me how to skateboard was like, hey, we're hanging out with two girls today, and I like one of them, and I want her to like think I'm cool. So I want to skateboard race you, and I want you to lose on purpose. And I'm like, bestie, you taught me everything I know. I'm not going to be losing on purpose, but okay. And so we started racing, and I crashed into a parked car.
Okay, well, I did that in my car. I crashed into a parked car, so.
Oh my God, guys.
For anyone who
So-
wants the tea, the girl he liked eventually realized she was a lesbian.
All that for a lesbian.
That's how it
So-
be sometimes.
Langdon says, let's get some Let on that, which is a topical anesthetic. I looked it up. So they're just like a numbing cream, basically. Langdon's going to go get some scissors so that they can do debriding, which, like, there's so much debriding happening in this episode, which I guess, like, 4th of July, I should have expected it, but, like, there's so much happening. And Dr. Al checks in with Langdon, and I loved this interaction, but it also kind of made me anxious a little bit. He's talking about how, Dr. Robby's not really glad that he's there. And she says, well, he's not going to be here, and I'm happy you're back. And again, I just wanted to say, this woman is not a villain.
Yeah.
This woman is not the villain. I think we are about, like, this is about in the episode where we start to see the swap. She and Robby, like, swap places, Robby very clearly becomes the doctor leaving, and she is the doctor. She is the attending. And I think this is the moment that kicks that into gear. Like, Robby starts kind of losing support from people.
Yeah.
I love that Dr. Al comes into the trauma and hits the prison guard with the door when she's coming into the trauma room.
I didn't even notice that, but that's incredible.
It's amazing. She opens the door and hits him with it. Dr. Al is doing Robby's job better than he is, to be honest.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is good because, you want to know that the department is going to be in a good place while he's gone.
Mohan's phone is ringing again, and I'm like, girl, do not disturb.
For real.
And also, like, how is the vibration of your phone so fucking loud?
Boo, 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 boo.
Like, isn't it in her pocket? How is it that loud?
And my phone, when I have it on silent and I'm like, okay, Matt, call me, I lost my phone, doesn't make a fucking noise. It could be on a like wooden table dangling precariously where it should make noise. It doesn't make a single fucking noise. My new earbuds that I got for Christmas have like a built-in like, oh, we'll ring and we'll shake if you lose us. And you access the app to try and find us. They don't fucking do a thing.
Yeah.
Samsung, count your fucking days.
We have this really incredible conversation. Mel is still very anxious about her deposition. Whitaker is anxious about Langdon. And then Mohan is like, when Whitaker explains what happened with Langdon, and Mohan goes, oof, I was like, that's amazing. But she also says, and this is where I want, again, I'm sure we have, I'm thinking of Steven and Libby who listen, who work in the medical field. You guys can let us know. You're the two that I think of off the top of my head. That's no shade to other people that listen that are medical professionals. They're just the two that I talk to the most. Y'all tell me if this is normal. Mohan says, he went to rehab, he worked the steps, it's all behind him now. And I'm like, okay, would you guys be having this conversation with a patient who is like A&O in front of you?
Here's the thing. I think it's because he's a prisoner. Like, presumably after they're done taking care of him, he's not going to go out to the streets, TM, and like start ratting out about Langdon's conditions and like his circumstance. He's going to go back to prison once he's well enough to go back.
But still.
I'm going to be loud and right for a second
Hell yeah.
because I disagree with you on 2 counts, okay? One,
Number one, he's going to die.
no. No, one is that I think that what we've seen of the staff at this hospital, they are not going to think any less of somebody or treat them any differently because they are an inmate. And
Right.
2, I don't think that's my concern. My concern is just that that's not anybody's business, and for them to be discussing it so openly while there are other people around who's like it's none of their business. It's
Right.
not that I worry that they're going to go tell people. It's just the principle of the matter is that it's not their fucking business.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with this person being a prisoner, just based on the way they were all acting and the way that they were like, "Can we get the cuffs off this guy? Like, please?" I mean, he's very clearly very injured. Like, they very much see this guy as a person. So I think it's not the prisoner part of it. I think they're just yappy and gossipy.
I didn't mean that in like they're looking down on him. I think they're like, he's going back to some place where he can say whatever he wants and it won't matter.
I
Mm,
guess. I don't know. I just think they're just being kind of loose-lipped about this. And I think it doesn't
it's
necessarily have
messy.
to do with the patient that they're treating. I think they might have said this in front of anyone. I don't know. It's always weird when they start having like a personal conversation while treating a patient to me.
Having a personal conversation is one thing, but talking about one of the doctors from your department going to rehab and all that kind of stuff, I'm just like, mm.
I can't wait for like an ER doctor to message us and be like, no, we talk shit about people all the time in front of patients every single time. It's so fun.
So here's a thought that I had. Dr. Robby comes in and he pulls Mohan from this trauma to go into another trauma less than a minute after Dr. Al puts her in charge. Anybody else clock that? She literally says, Dr. Mohan, you're in charge. And then less than a minute later, Robby is like, Dr. Mohan, we need you. And I'm like, I see a problem.
I would say it's more suspicious that it's a problem, but I don't think Robbie heard Dr. Al be like, okay, you're in charge. I think he just went in.
But yeah, and I'm not saying that necessarily. I'm just saying I see a problem here.
Yeah, but she should have been like, Dr. Al left me in charge here. She needs me here.
I think it's more just like they're both trying to run the department.
Yeah.
And so we're crossing wires here. And I think that this is going to cause an issue.
Well, because this is the first time that we've seen Robbie with somebody who's like not a subordinate, like that he's having to
Mm
work closely with.
hmm. Mm
And
hmm.
this man very clearly is not good at it.
So Debbie's bulla is worse. They want surgery to come down and check it. Robbie wants to prep to intubate. And he also tells Jesse, he says, call surgery and tell them to get their heads out of their asses. But he whispers it. And I'm like, finally, you're like managing your tone around this patient. You're
Yeah.
freaking her out. Now, Robbie asks Dana if she brought Langdon back, and she says no. She tells Robbie that he banished Langdon to Scut Purgatory. I looked it up. That stands for some clinically useful task, aka busy work. So, busy work purgatory is what she's saying. And she's basically like, you need to grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yes.
And she's like, Langdon has done everything you would have done.
Thank you, Dana.
So if you think you made a problem, you tell him that, but you need to grow the fuck up. And I'm like, finally.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What is it about Dr. Robbie that is just like last season we were also obsessed with him, and this season, like I love him, but I'm also just like, I cannot fucking stand you.
He legitimately needs to go to therapy and like actually sit down and I think, earlier when he was like, oh, having fun with that fits, and we're like, I try to be like benefit of the doubt. Oh yeah, it's very difficult to find a therapist. I'm like, no, I think you're just being intentionally difficult.
Very possible. So Westbridge has shut down their ORs, so Mr. Billings is back. Mr. Billings is the patient from earlier who had the dislocated shoulder, like the one that Mel was like, looks like it's dislocated,
The one who was transferred out because his insurance would cover the surgery at the other hospital, but not at this one. So that does make me wonder, like, how is this going to affect his, like, bills?
Poorly. Poorly.
Poor guy.
So Dr. Al hasn't heard anything about what's going on at Westbridge. I also kinda thought it was I wasn't crazy about the fact that Robby was like, "Hey, you're buddies with Gloria." It seemed like, not to misuse the term microaggression, but it was like, "Oh, you're besties with the woman we all hate. You're besties with the ivory tower."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I hate him for doing that, but I do like how this is subtle for, like, foreshadowing, I presume. People are having difficulties communicating with higher up, quote unquote, like they're higher up the ladder. And I'm like, is it a communications issue? Like, is it systems are down and no one's realized it? Or is it
Mhm.
something else?
Right, because Dana says that she can't get in charge with the charge nurse at Westbridge. They haven't heard anything, they're not responding. So, yeah, there could be a million things going on. But I also just wanted to take a moment here for the wardrobe department and say that the cut of Dr. Al's scrubs is fucking stunning. They're figs scrubs, and these aren't like, ooh, custom, like let's, alter these. These are just fig scrubs. But the cut of that neckline is fucking fantastic. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
she
I
looks
love it.
good.
She looks great. She looks amazing. So, Robby wants to know about Dr. Al's patients. She wants to know why he's treating her like a resident, which is so
Because he
valid.
doesn't know how to not treat everyone like a subordinate. Like, he
Mm.
truly does not remember what it's like to, like, have someone who's at the same level as him because he's just been in charge.
We also have an issue with we make a lot of jokes about Robby hating women, but I will say that if it were a man, I don't think he would be as babysitty. Now,
Maybe.
I don't want to use the example of like Abbott, right? Because Abbott is from that hospital, Robby knows his work, all that kind of stuff. That's different, right? But if it were a man coming from somewhere else, I do think there would definitely be heads butting, but I don't think he would be babying a man quite as much. Like
Probably true.
checking his work, he would just be stepping on a man's toes and taking over. But here he's like, tell me about your patients and keep me informed. And I don't think he would have done that with,
Yeah.
but yeah, she wants to know why he's treating her like a resident. And Langdon, eavesdropper of all time, is clocking this conversation. We saw him clocking conversations last season, so of course he's doing it again. They make it very obvious this time though. The camera focuses on him and then cuts back, like refocuses on Dr. Al and Dr. Robby. I want to know how this is going to come into play later because I want to know, like, how is this going to inform how Langdon behaves? Is he going to trust Dr. Almore, or is he picking up on tension? Like, what is he going to glean from this, and how is that going to affect him later?
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how the relationship progresses because, like, Robby has made it very clear that he does not want Langdon here, but Dr. Al has made it very clear that she does.
Right.
And so I think if I were him, I mean, I would stop reporting to Robby because Robby doesn't want me here. And I
Hmm.
would, get buddy buddy with Dr. Al because she seems to give a shit about me and like want me to do my job in a way that like Robby doesn't. So I don't know. I'm wondering if we are headed not to like a fight within the ER, but I wonder if we're going to start seeing like allegiances shift and like,
Mommy's getting custody.
yeah, sort of a like Dr. Al's team and a Dr. Robbie's team,
It even kind of seems like Dr. Al is winning over Santos, though, later on.
Maybe a little.
So we'll see. But Dr. Al also refers to it as our ED. And I was like, hell yeah,
Good for
go
her.
off. Yeah, yeah. So night shift charge nurse Lena appears. She's
Yeah.
here for Roxy. She's a death doula, apparently. If you don't know what a doula is someone who assists in a birth, but is not like medically trained. So they're there to guide you through and help you through like giving birth. But a death doula is the same thing, but for people who are terminally ill. They just help you process through, grief and death and help take care of logistics and stuff like that. So Roxy's husband calls her a real lifesaver. Oof.
Oof.
Eesh.
Alex, our branding patient, his brother has arrived. And the line is said that I paused and I was like, what the fuck? I've never heard it used in this context. He says, "Are you gooning me?" What?
I
Brother.
the writers have to know what the word gooning means to people of that age bracket
In 2026.
in 2020. Like, they have to fucking know. There's no way.
If you don't know, let's clarify real quick.
No.
I, I'm going to
No.
clarify real quick. If you're listening to this on speaker or whatever and you're around anybody and you're like, just turn the volume down for like 5 seconds. It's one word and then you can turn it back up. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Masturbation. Cool.
Right.
Yeah, wild that that children of this age would be like, "Are you gooning me?" And I'm like, "Your brother is gooning you? We have a bigger problem. Where's Dylan? Can somebody get Dylan in here, please? We need social workers." Like, what? So there's a video of this kid branding his brother.
Incredible.
And they're like, "Do you want to see it?" And Langdon and Donahue are both like, "Hell yeah, we want to see this." Which is boys will be boys. Again, boys will be boys. But these two fathers suddenly turn into boys and they're like, "Hell yeah, we want to see this." And they're losing their shit. It's their family crest that they are branding onto their skin, which is the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is Pittsburgh's NHL team.
I was like, is this actually what you call your family crest, or is this a joke?
This is a joke.
Okay.
No, but also, fuck the Pens. Just so I have myself on recording saying that. Fuck the Pens. He says, "We're gonna be bonded for life." And Langdon says, "You already are with DNA."
Listen, brotherhood, that shit is temporary. The brand that we gave each other with dry ice, that's for life.
Might as well just fucking get Sidney Crosby's face. And they're like, "We can try again in a couple months." And Langdon and Donahue are like, "No." Which is just, it's fucking ridiculous, dude.
This whole thing is just like, why would you do this?
We do need comedic relief patients, though. Not everybody needs to be terminal.
Right, but like...
Boy. Good Lord. Debbie is intubated now. She's the sepsis patient. I do want to point out, people complain a lot about like not enough representation in the show of like different specialties and things like that. I will say, one, this show does an incredible job showing us people in different roles, okay? They can't have every single role in a hospital, so some people need to calm down. However, I will say that we do have 2 respiratory therapists here doing the bagging, and they have lines and everything. And so I hope that respiratory therapists see this and feel represented. I clocked that and I thought that was great. But the surgical consult arrives. He's an intern. He just graduated like weeks ago. He knows very little. He starts taking photos for Garcia, but he's also like taking a shitload of photos of the same thing. And Robby tells him to go find someone else and lists a bunch of different doctors. And he's like, "I don't know any of those people, and Robby interrupts him and yells, "Don't take this personally. I just need a fucking grown up." And I was like, "Yeah, because you're not one."
The fact that Robby asked for like Dr. like Shamsi and this guy doesn't seem to know her, like, isn't she kind of in charge of surgery?
He's brand new. How many of you? I definitely didn't know all my coworkers' names like my first week or 2 of my job.
I've been at my job for longer than 2 years and I still don't know their names.
I at least knew my supervisors, like the people who were in charge of me.
Maybe they just haven't interacted that much. But yeah, no. Go get a fucking grown up, which is wild to say too. If he was in med school not too long ago, this is his R1 presumably, or like,
yeah, he's an intern,
which means he's 27.
You know what Robby was saying.
As a 27-year-old, there are times that I'm like, I need an adultier adult in this moment. Like, I need someone who has experienced more life than me right now.
I need an adult. I am an adult. No, you're not.
I need an adultier adult.
But Robby's like, "Go get a fucking grown up." And I'm like, yeah, because Robby's clearly not one.
Ooh.
Like, his attitude is so shit. So this inmate's skin is super fragile. The stitches keep tearing through the skin, which is crazy.
Yikes.
Very yikes. There haven't been many things in the show that have made me go, "Ooh," but like seeing the stitches like rip through the skin and like not properly connect the laceration, I'm like, "Ooh, that's I don't like that. I don't like that."
That's
I don't
a
like
skill issue, Robert, because there's something every episode that makes me go, "Huh."
I'm very dead inside to a lot of things. Like when Camille was like, it's bothered us that we've been getting a couple of negative reviews. I'm like, I haven't felt shit about these negative reviews.
No,
it bothers me.
It bothers Camille. I'm like, listen, if I do not know you personally, no offense, If you say nice things to me, I will appreciate that, but if you say mean things to me, I'm like, "You don't know me."
You explode in, like, derogatory way when anyone says anything nice about you.
Yes, I do. I like anyone, strangers, friends, family, anyone says anything nice about me, I'm a puddle of tears. Anybody says anything mean about me who I don't know personally, I'm like, you don't know anything. You don't know me. You've never met me. You know the little bit of my life that I show you on this podcast. Like, you don't like Mal, who is the host of the Pit Crew? Okay, that's not a real person. That's the host of a podcast. Anyway,
Robbie sneaks up behind everybody and he's about to suggest something for these stitches that won't stay, but Dr. Al says the same thing. Like she already has it. She's got it. She knows what she's doing, so she suggests it. She clocks him being there without having to like turn around and even see him there, which I'm fucking obsessed with. And she's like, "What do you think?" And he's like, "Yep, it sounds great. Sounds like a MacGyver move," which leads to one of the funniest lines of the episode.
I hated this. Does a Dr. MacGyver work here?
the youths don't know.
I shouldn't feel old because MacGyver is even before any of us, but I
Mm,
know MacGyver well enough that I would have caught the reference and be like, ha. And it hurts me because these characters are canonically like a year or two younger than me, or like even a
mm,
couple of years older than me, and they don't
mhm.
know who MacGyver is. And I'm like, oh my God.
And like there's a lot of pop culture stuff that I don't know, but like that's what I at least know. Like that feels culturally significant enough.
To MacGyver something is
Yeah.
like common enough that you've heard it at some point, probably. It means throwing shit together and hoping it works.
I also really like Mel's response of, I don't know."
She's so timid. She's
So
like, I
funny.
don't know if someone works here that named Dr. MacGyver.
I don't know. Santos still can't get her charting done, but they need to do contact tracing and all that kind of stuff. They've got to, check with people in the waiting room and see who is exposed to this woman with TB and
I
just
feel
like,
very seen watching Santos like okay, I have this stuff that I have to get done and it's kind of like my busy work that I hate doing but like it needs to get done. And then every other task that keeps popping up ends up having like 47 other tasks like related to it and you're just kind of like,
mhm.
"My god, when will it end?" So it's like, "Been there, girl."
Yeah. Now, Mrs. Randolph is having a very shitty day.
I think this is a very shitty episode. Like,
Lots of lube in this season, I will say.
gosh, why is there so much butt stuff? Why is there so much butt stuff?
But, we got to teach Ogilvie how to do this. And I was correct last time. It's see one, do one, teach one.
Are you like a psychic or something? Because they said that, and I was like, Robert said that.
They have said this multiple times throughout both seasons.
I thought it
No,
was
they haven't.
incredibly funny the way Whitaker was like, "That's a med student job." Like he's so excited to not be a med student anymore and be like, "Yes, I don't have to dig in a butt anymore," only to like have to teach a med student how to dig in a butt. It was very funny.
Camille, say your meme.
Mr. Krabs. Start digging in your butt, twin. I'm laughing because I was gonna say it anyway, and Robert said, "Camille, say your meme" at the same time that I was already singing it.
I'm not even the way I have a monitor set up. I'm looking at the notes on this monitor, and you guys are over here. I didn't even look at you before I was like, Camille, say your thing. I know you're gonna say it.
Noelle says that MedSurge will take Mr. Diaz. That's going to cut the bill down by 2/3, which makes it roughly 35 grand, but he's still going to owe 20 grand.
And see, this is all just still an estimate, by the way.
Yeah.
It could be a lot more if he has to stay in the hospital longer than they think. They have to run other tests, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole, I feel there were two things I really wanted for this season. One, to have a character go through like, hey, medical expenses are really fucking terrible. And two, I wanted like more Robby and Langdon working together and like slowly rebuilding the relationship. And I feel like when I made both those wishes, I made them on a fucking monkey paw because the monkey paw fingers curled and I got my wish, but not in the way I really wanted them.
And like, no shade to MedSurge, but they are talking about how they're going to take him off the insulin drip and then he's going to have like injections of insulin. And part of me is thinking, okay, but like how busy is MedSurge? And they said they could handle it, but at the same time, I'm just thinking so much could go wrong.
Well, and, like, with what you said about,
4 to 1.
like, yeah, the nurse ratio,
Mm,
doesn't seem great to me, but
hmm
alright.
So Mohan apologizes to Joy for not trusting her idea. And I like that she apologizes for it, even though I think that part of her criticism and her hesitancy was very valid, again, in that this should not have been brought up directly in front of the patient. But Mohan, she apologizes, and Joy says that her grandma had leukemia and was uninsured, which I can't imagine. That sounds like a
God.
fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
She says that her death taught her a lot, mainly that she doesn't want to be around people dying.
Why you getting into medicine, girly pop?
Well, because I think she and her family learned how to finagle the system, and so she wants to try to do the same from the inside. But at the same time, I'm sitting here going, okay, this explains why she was very uncomfortable with the motorcycle crash guy. And
Yeah,
then also, I'm wondering how this is going to continue to inform her throughout the season.
true.
Oh my God, we're 30% through the season.
We are.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Wow.
We're a third of the way through.
We're back with Roxy. Roxy has a morphine drip now, and she's going to need a wheelchair. She's going to need a shower chair. She's going to need bars. I was listening to this, and like, that sounds like a nightmare and so expensive. And then also, like, morbid but true is that ultimately that person is going to pass away, and then you'll have spent all this money on like making changes to your home that you won't need anymore. And that's going to be a really painful reminder of all of that. And my second thought was, I really wish that I had like support bars and a shower chair in my own apartment, just because as somebody with like horrific back pain all the time, that would be like
Yeah,
amazing.
that'd
Oh
be
my
nice.
God. Oh my God. I wish, I wish, I wish, I wish. We're back with Mrs. Randolph. We are with Whitaker, Ogilvie, and Santos. And Whitaker tells Ogilvie to double glove.
Ugh.
So he has some experience with this, is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, he's a med. He was a med student. He had to like do all this shit for his rotations, but like, he has some real experience.
We are bringing a whole new meaning to the word or the term poop scooper.
Oh.
I'm like, you know what? That's what you could call your fingers, like phalanges, fingies, wingdoos, poop scoopers.
Oh, I'm leaving.
I literally I hated this so much. Is that her
Yeah.
tummy starts grumbling? And I was like, again, I was on a break at work while I watched this episode, and I was like, oh no, oh no. And then
Uh-huh.
Whitaker's like, oh, you should step back. And my notes just said, she fucking blasts him.
Explosion.
Garcia comes down and she says that they need a CT. Robby is tired of waiting, so he does a cowboy fasciotomy, and Garcia asks when his sabbatical starts. By the way, for those of you who don't know a fasciotomy, he just fucking like, gets a scalpel and he like cuts in
Yup.
and he's like, oh yeah, look at that infection. You fucking see that? That proof enough for you? What did he say? Instead of getting a CT, it was like a metal scan or whatever the fuck he said.
Garcia says she needs a CT scan, and Robbie says, how about a stainless steel scan? And Robbie grabs a bottle of iodine, basically douses her leg, and then grabs the scalpel, and it's just like, you know.
Here's
Do you
the
like that sound
infection.
effect?
Look at it.
Here's the infection. And then Garcia is like, when is your sabbatical start? And he's like, tomorrow. And she's like, that's not soon enough.
Not a moment too soon. The tension is through the roof. Like, Robbie is burning fucking bridges.
Oh,
I
yeah.
swear by the end of this season, everyone's gonna fucking hate Robbie the way he's acting right now.
And they're going to open up a new betting board. They're like, how long into his sabbatical do we think Robbie's going to die?
We can't speak that into existence.
Okay, but like we've talked a lot about him being like passively suicidal at best. And I mean, it is a red flag when people start, burning bridges, they start giving away their stuff, they start like
Mhm.
I think this is another red flag. Like,
Yeah. So Santos tells Dr. Al she's trying to catch up on her charting, and Dr. Al is like, you should try the AI dictation. Basically, Robbie interrupts to say, like, oh, if you do that, they'll get rid of our jobs. Like, they'll think we're more productive, they'll send us more patients, and they'll start eliminating our jobs. And I'm like, okay, but it's not quite that simple. Like, again, I am very anti AI, but at the same time, we do have to embrace modern solutions to problems that are causing us to lose time. Like, we can't be slaves to our jobs. And when there's something that is presented that could help you, Like,
I mean,
Robby is so
this is
obsessed with
different than,
being
like,
anti-generating art.
yeah, this is different than generative AI, I feel like.
But it's not generative AI, fucking making photos of people naked.
Like, okay, if I have to be okay with AI being used for something, I guess this is it. The saving time aspect of it and using it as a tool, okay.
Yeah. I will say that there's a trend going around social media right now where people are telling AI to look at their profile and take everything it knows about them and generate a photo of what it thinks they do for a living. Y'all have got to stop. One, stop it with the AI memes and like the willy-nilly generative whatever. But also, I swear to God, that's a social experiment. Like how much of you can AI generate? How accurate of a picture of you can AI generate based off of the things that you post online? I swear to God, somebody started that as a social experiment, or someone somewhere was like, let's get these people. I know what we can do. We'll make it a cutesy meme thing for Facebook. Y'all have got to stop.
I haven't seen that. Ooh.
Yeah, it's freaky.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Mr. Billings's friend has come to visit him and he's brought beer, which Dana swipes immediately because she's like, you're in a fucking hospital.
Good call. Thank you, Dana.
And then Robby takes one. Dr. Al clocks it. And Robby says he knows of someone who could really use one right now. And I was like, Robby, are you about to give Louie a fucking beer?
Yeah. Well, no, he's not, as we'll talk about in a minute, but
Here's the thing is that I need someone to explain this to me. I didn't do the research into this, but I have seen several skits and bits of like ER rooms being like, yeah, no, hey, you're someone who usually drinks and here's a beer or whatever. Like I've seen this is something that sometimes is done, question mark, please correct me if I'm wrong. As pointed out by our lovely reviews, I have never stepped foot inside of an ER.
I've limped into one, bitch. Yeah, oh, God. Well, Dr. Al is back in the trauma room. She's got jokes now, which I love because Whitaker's saying that head and neck doesn't want to take this inmate patient without like all these different scans first to make sure that surgery is really what he needs. And she's like, well, had they even come down to look at him yet? And Mel says, no, they're busy. And Dr. Al says, or there's a July 4th sale at the BMW dealership. That was funny as fuck.
God, can I have a July 4th sold Subaru, please?
that'd be nice for you.
The patient is malnourished, and Dr. Al mentions that it's probably the prison diet, which is so devastating.
Yeah.
Like, inmates should not be mistreated. They
Like,
are still human
they are
beings.
people,
Like, it is
by the
still the
way.
burden of society to take care of those people. If that is what you determine that they should be in confinement, then we do still have to take care of those people. Human rights are still
Right.
very valid and in effect, you know. This next scene I felt very seen by because Roxy needs to go to the bathroom. They don't have a pure wick, which is like a catheter basically. She doesn't want a bedpan. She wants to just go to the bathroom. But like things are clearly changing here. She's not going to be able to just like go to the bathroom casually anymore.
Yeah.
And she does make a, Javati at one point says that the fracture should heal within 6 weeks and she says if I live that long,
Ugh.
which is really devastating. But you do kind of have to like settle with reality at a certain point, especially after 7 years of fighting cancer. So they go to get her a wheelchair, and as she's trying to get out of bed, she's in excruciating pain, like dangling her foot. And I felt very, very seen in this because the last time I was at the hospital and was trying to get off of the bed after they had like doped me up and were sending me home, it took forever because I was in so much pain. And I don't like to be touched when I'm in pain.
Uh-huh.
So I was a little bit like, I understood that it was a kind gesture that they were like, rubbing her shoulders or whatever, but also I think that would have driven me insane. But the last time that I was in the hospital, there were two nurses who were trying to help me out of bed, off of the gurney, and they didn't touch me. They were there for support. And I was like, it was so funny because one of the nurses was like, that's what I'm here for. Like, you touch me if you want. And I was like, what? And she was like, not that now hold on. That wasn't what I meant. But they were very, very patient with me. And I really appreciated that because I think I have been in a situation where a medical provider was, like, trying to help me get into my car at a walk-in clinic, but was kind of rushing me in a way, and my brother was there with me, and he was like, "We got this, thank you. Like, you can go back in," because he was kinda trying to rush me to the point that my brother was like, "Okay, you can just leave. Like, if you're gonna rush her, she's clearly in a lot of pain, you can go, we don't need you here." And these women, thank God, were not rushing me in any way. They were very patient with me, didn't insist on touching me or trying to like physically manipulate me to help me. They understood that I just did not want anyone touching me. And so they were both there to provide support, like hold their hands out just in case I needed them. But they also just let me take my time and figure it out on my own. And so seeing this and seeing the amount of physical pain this woman is in, like, I would never compare my situation to the pain that a cancer patient must be feeling, but I did like, I had just been shot up with opiates, you know, and, like, it's just excruciating, like, you just wanna wail, and so I felt very seen in the fact that there's this woman who's very much alert and oriented, very much totally in her right mind, but is also in excruciating pain, and also having to worry about the feelings of the others with you, you know?
Yeah.
So I really liked this scene. I really liked just the moral and emotional support that McKay and Princess provided to her in this moment.
Yeah. I don't have anything yet. I'm just like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Louis keeps knocking his pulse ox off, so, you know, the monitors start going off and everything's beeping, and Langdon goes in there to be like, "Hey, did you knock it off again?" And he pulls the blanket back,
It's still on.
and I fucking told y'all.
I know, I've been waiting for this all season. I was like, something is gonna happen, something is gonna happen, and
Mm.
it's happening. Like, I said, "Oh no," out loud, and like, you guys have seen me watch TV. You know that like I am touching my face. I was like hands on the head, hands sliding down my face to be like, "Oh my god," as I'm like watching this happen because I was like, "Not Louis." I was like, "I know it's coming," but I thought they were going to drag this out for a little bit longer. Like this was sooner than I was expecting.
And, like, he could come back, we don't know, but, like, Louis is crashing, and, don't Robby, I swear to God, don't think I didn't notice the goddamn beer in your hand when you walked into this room, you motherfucker.
Yeah, listen, bad, but also Louis.
But no, we have some faith that, like, Louis is gonna be okay, but I think that this is gonna be a moment of, you know, we're going to see the 2 directions that addiction can go. Do you treat it or do you not?
Right.
You know, what path do you take as an addict? And this is devastating. I think this is gonna have a devastating effect on people, but I also think that this could be what Robby needs to start to forgive Langdon, because he's going to see the stark difference between what happens and the effort that Langdon has put into being better, right? So if they lose Louis, Robby has to have that moment of, well, I could have lost Langdon entirely. It
Right.
could be a lot worse. And he could have been like Louis in that he genuinely just didn't want help, right? We got an email from Sam, who is a real life almost doctor. Sam is about to graduate medical school. Congratulations, Sam. That's wonderful. We're very excited for you. And thank you for sending me a picture of your beautiful cat. I'm obsessed. I please attach cat pictures to emails that you send us because I love
Or
that.
lizard pictures. If anyone has a lizard, please send me pictures of your lizard. I love to see lizards. And snakes. Any reptiles, really.
Yeah, and please don't take us saying snakes, lizards, and cats as being something else. We are specifically talking about reptiles
The
and
animals,
animals.
please.
Yes. But Sam said, I was floored when you said you think that Louis has endocarditis. This is my prediction as well. Spot on. So,
Nice.
can't wait to be loud and right. I need to stop saying that, but it's really funny.
Sorry to that commenter if you did mean it as like kind of a fun little hee 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 joke and you weren't actually intending to be mean. It did come across a little bit mean.
And I'm trying benefit of the doubt. I really am trying to be like, they were not trying to be mean. They were just being like tee hee, buddy buddy. But also, I do, and I mean this in the nicest way possible. You don't know me like that. So please indicate your tone when you're saying something like that, especially if you're someone who doesn't fucking know me, because yeah.
Because
But
I can say Camille is loud and wrong because Camille knows me. Camille knows I mean it out of love. Um
I know she means it, but I also know she means it out of love.
Listen, I can also recognize that there are lots of times where I am loud and wrong, so it's fine.
So that's where we end the episode is Robby and Langdon shoulder to shoulder trying to resuscitate Louis, and I think that that is pretty poetic in that they are working shoulder to
Kinda
shoulder on
beautiful.
someone. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Any thoughts that didn't fit anywhere else or thoughts that you guys have had as we've talked?
Well, you know my catchphrase, no thoughts had empty.
Let's shift to patient passports.
I gotta go Asplosion. Everything about Ogilvie getting humbled and Whitaker having to teach him to dig in a butt, like, just all of it, as uncomfortable as it made me to watch, it was also a little funny.
Honestly, for me, it is because, hey, it's my monkey paw wish. It is seeing Langdon and Robby being forced to work together again to save Louis.
Yeah.
Damn. I think mine is Dr. Al stepping up to Robby and saying, and your turn, getting
Yeah.
that moment of being like, why are you treating me like a resident? I loved that. I love that she is finally just going, you know what? Sick and tired of this. I put up with it for a few hours. Now we got to make a fucking change. So, yeah. I think I've said all I've got to say.
I think I've said all I've got to say.
Oh, wait, can I clarify one thing? Oh my God, we're doing so much housekeeping. I'm going to clarify one thing. The way I was raised, I do this thing called cooperative overlapping. It's my communication style. So when I'm interrupting somebody, it's because I'm like trying to validate that like I'm on board, I get where they're going, I know what they're saying, like yes. So like that's not me interrupting people to be rude. It's literally my communication style. I think that because I talk the most on this podcast, I don't want people to think I'm steamrolling. That's just my communication style. My bad.
Camille has the pit brain rot far more than we do, and that's fine. And I'm here also to learn from Camille because this is a teaching hospital. This is a teaching podcast.
Yeah, bitch. Now.
And also I have a really bad habit of trailing off in the middle of sentences and just like not finishing them. So sometimes I do need someone to come in and like finish my sentence for me. So
Pop quiz, take everything you've learned from this podcast. Your first shift starts now. Good luck.
people are going to die, Camille. That's not a good idea.
Well, with that, so long, fellow losers.
The Pit Crew podcast is created and produced by us, Robert, Mal, and Camille. It's edited by me, Robert. You can find us on TikTok, Threads, and Instagram at Pit Crew Podcast. If you'd like to support our other projects, our socials are linked in the show notes below. Our art is by Rampacoca. He can be found on Instagram at Rampacoca. All patient questions and concerns can be emailed to pittcrewpodcast@gmail.com. Now, this isn't a Taco Bell, but we do appreciate a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to schedule a follow-up appointment with a nurse before you go. See you next time.